if I told you we were putting a team together? Who's we?
What's up, folks? Welcome back to TacticalTortoise. My name is Trevi, and recently I played a game using only Space Marine captains.
Captain, my captain.
Alright, I said Space Marine captains, but mostly what we're trying to do is put as many Space Marine characters as possible into a list. So that meant that the dizzying variety of Space Marine captains and lieutenants are in. However, actual useful units like Inceptors and Aggressors that deal damage, score points, and do all those other things that are necessary to win a game are right out.
We don't do that here.
But now, sponsor time.
Archmagos Dominus, you have been preoccupied of late. What has stolen your attention from designing increasingly inconceivable Space Marine armor marks?
Apologies, my lord. A new standard template construct has been discovered that I am dedicated to studying. We have called it RAID.
Ah, yes, the biochemical tyrannid suppressant. I know it well.
No, my lord. We have designated this momentous discovery
Raid Shadow Legends!
This ancient and powerful software is so efficient it can be played on a mobile device, even with its impeccable graphics. We have even made this technology accessible to all Imperial citizenry on iOS, Android, and PC. Citizens of good standing can use the link in the description or scan the QR code to receive the hero Lightsworn as soon as you register, as well as Juliana when reaching level 15 for free. Somehow 40,000 years in the future, the game is even being updated with the newest Cursed City update, a month-long excursion to the city of Sintranos. This new mode features great reward as well as tons of replayability. For you see, my lord, each month the Cursed City will reset and add new battle conditions and rewards.
I see, Archmagos Dominus. That does seem incredibly exciting.
You can even find me playing under the username TacticalTort. With all this exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? Use the link in the video description or scan the QR code on screen to receive your epic heroes. And once you're in, we will become legends together!
Archmagos, who are you talking to?
The first thing that we have to do is choose a chapter, and this was a difficult decision. There are a lot of options available for chapters with super cool characters. Adrex, Agathoni, Cavenstrike, and Captain Lysander are all awesome from the core book. And both Black Templars and Space Wolves have a smorgasbord of insane and super cool characters in non-compliant chapters.
I realized we have way too many choices.
But if we want the chapter with the absolute most character, there's only one real choice, and that is playing Ultramarines means we get access to some of the biggest badasses in the Codex. Characters like Uriel Ventress, Marnius Calgar, and the big Blueberry Man himself, Robooti Gilly Man. Now, most of these characters get their biggest bonuses from their leadership abilities. Abilities that unlock while the character is attached to and leading a unit. So this means that if we want to actually win our games, we do need units for them to lead. But with our self-imposed restriction, we're trying to limit the number of non-character units in the army. So let me introduce company heroes. Now, while technically these aren't characters, I think we can all agree company heroes are a unit full of character. Now, this datasheet is new in 10th edition, and they're pretty wild. These are special command units that can be joined by both captains and lieutenants, although if they don't have a captain in the unit, they actually kill themselves before the game. That's hardcore!
In ancient times, one would fall on their sword.
They have a bolter guy that mostly just gets killed first for ablative wounds, an extra OC guy, and a guy with a very cool heavy bolter with some pretty sweet stats on it. But the real kicker is the company champion, who comes himself with an absolute bucket load of 2 damage melee attacks.
Whilst you were out partying, I studied the blade.
Who's basically another captain to add to the unit.
Are you having a laugh?
What?
He does exactly what I do, but better.
Now, Space Marine captains themselves are actually a pretty zany datasheet of their own. In addition to their traditional rites of battle and absolutely heroic jawline, they also come pre-packaged with a vial of mysterious green liquid,
A super soldier serum.
that can temporarily boost their virility for a fight phase of steamy passion.
I have. Oh dear God. Wow. You're looming.
So if we assemble the team and attach both a lieutenant and captain to a company hero's unit, we get a grand total, while using their finest hour ability, of 18 or so 2 damage attacks. That seems pretty good. Now, to supplement the combo, I've picked a Gladius Task Force detachment, mostly to gain access to Honor the Chapter, for that sweet +1 to wound, and sometimes +1 AP. That puts the captain's retinue into range to kill a lot of stuff, up to and including heavy vehicles. Alongside Gilliman and rites of battle from the captain himself, you could potentially be honoring the chapter 3 times a turn. If you need to, this army can put out a ridiculous amount of damage in the fight phase. But captains alone, outside of the company hero units, are not even bad by themselves, so we're still open to taking more. Unfortunately, we can only have 3 regular Space Marine captains, so we'll have to make do with some other captains, like a Gravis captain to act as a tanky boy to eat some shots directly to his face.
I am invincible.
As well as Uriel Ventress to grant the army some reach by teleporting one of the hero's units into battle using the power of his supreme logistics, I guess. I don't know.
Amazon wants to make delivery by aerial drones a reality for its customers. Uncrewed, autonomous aircraft will be delivering packages in less than an hour.
Now, while the heroes are -1 to be wounded innately, I'm a little bit worried about our lonesome characters being absolutely vaporized by laser cannons. So I'm going to let them ride to battle in style in a Land Raider Redeemer. I've also rounded things out by taking a pair of Primaris Lieutenants, as well as 2 Imperial Assassins, a Calidus and an Eversor, to give an easier time scoring points. And because they're characters, so they fit our restrictions. And with that, we constructed a janky as hell list, and I submitted it to a tournament. My first game was, in fact, a mirror match. Adeptus Astartes' brother versus Adeptus Astartes' brother. However, it was a very different variety of Space Marines, because my opponent was playing a Black Templars Firestorm Assault Force, filled to the brim with tanks. This was a pretty interesting matchup, and was definitely going to put the captains through their paces, because my opponent was running multiple Land Raider Redeemers, packed with angry hordes of Crusaders.
I know religion's important and all, but I think you might be taking it a...
These were led by characters and backed up by powerful guns like Gladiator Lancers that I knew I was going to struggle to get a hold of with my almost entirely melee character army. Hilariously though, for 2 armies that were packed with characters, we played Sites of Power, a mission that rewarded holding the center objectives with characters. At the beginning of the game, Uriel Ventress used his unfathomable mind powers to wish Marneus Calgar, as well as an attached unit of company heroes and a lieutenant, to teleport onto the battlefield through the warp.
Hi everyone! Today we're going to be talking about how to manifest instantly.
I filled a Land Raider Redeemer with angry bureaucrats, but kept a combi weapon lieutenant next to Gilliman. I will put a combi lieutenant here, in order to keep the Primarch's 12-foot-tall, godlike, bemuscled form safe, using his spongy, regularly sized human body.
What are you gonna fucking do? Shoot me with a gun? Get out of here.
Get down, Mr. President!
My opponent took the first turn and rushed forward, pushing everything as far as he can up the table. But thanks to the exceptional bravery of the indomitable Ultramarines, they were all hiding, and there weren't any good lines of fire to access my army, which is good because Guilliman always sleeps in late, and for some reason doesn't get his Primarch ability on the top of the first turn. I would have had to pay real money to use Armor of Contempt, which is frankly ridiculous. Now, there's a very good reason that the use of anti-personnel incendiary weapons is restricted by the Geneva Convention, mostly for the absolute inhumane things they do to specifically Space Marine Company heroes units. With that in mind, I had to keep my army safely tucked away behind a wall of loosely stacked bricks for their own protection, as it offered an absolutely impenetrable barrier to my opponent's Overwatch. One of the company hero units and a bunch of random captains bailed out of my own tracked war crime generator and charged headlong into battle, engaging the closest Redeemer that had taken a position in the middle of the table. Fortunately for them, Big Daddy Guilliman got there first. And while we did soak the Overwatch on a Primaris Lieutenant, he was able to engage the Redeemer, preventing it from using its Overwatch. That allowed Guilliman to get into melee unscathed. Having finally been awoken from his beauty sleep by the roaring engines of the opponent's super heavy tank, Guilliman ruthlessly beat the offending machine into submission with his bare fist. So 5 AP, 4 down to 3.
You should be ruling once to wound because I'm on your objective.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's the one I picked.
5 months.
Okay.
He's very good.
Take 24 damage.
Yeah, very good.
All right, everybody, get out of there. That forced the embarked Sword Brethren units to bail out of the pulverized Land Raider. But with it being surrounded by a wailing horde of mindless and extremely expensive Space Marine characters, they couldn't set up too far away from the swinging blades of the company heroes. And that let one of my hero squads with an attached lieutenant and captain get into a Sword Brethren group led by an opponent's Emperor's Champion. And they killed the entire unit. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so 8 special power fist attacks. Yeah, we'll roll them first.
So this will kill the guys at 2.
Oh, jeez. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
So 4 guys are dead.
Holy shit, Captain. Calm down. Lieutenants, let's go. 2 AP2 on whoever you want.
We stand ready.
And then the company champion fights the Emperor's Champion. 6 AP2 on the champion. Dude, this unit slaps. Holy shit.
And then he turns the first failed save to damage 0. So
2 damage each.
0, that's still 3. Yeah, that's still not dead.
Yep. All right, company heroes. I need you to calm down. Holy crap.
I ate the whole plate. The whole plate.
That still left a Sword Brethren squad led by High Marshal Helbrecht on the table, as well as an aggressor squad led by a captain, hiding in the second napalm delivery truck. Those two put the game on their collective shoulders and came out swinging. The aggressors jumped out with their Flamestorm gauntlets spitting, putting themselves up for a charge of crimes against superhumanity by shooting Guilliman with devastating wound flamers. Fortunately, he remembered to wear his flame retardant booties today and survived with exactly 1 damage left. Unfortunately for him, his booties were not high explosive proof, so High Marshal Helbrecht bounced a grenade off of the Primarch's face to kill the poor Guilliman.
Helbrecht's gonna throw a grenade at Guilliman.
Not like this. No! No! He flips over. On the other side of the table, however, drama was unfolding, as the Eversor assassin had pushed wildly far forward to clear out some enemy scouts, a task at which he failed miserably. Fortunately for him, however, what he lacked in offense, he made up for in absolutely ludicrous defense, and was able to tank an entire Inceptor unit shooting at him. Not that excited about this guy. Am I gonna I'm not gonna reroll on this dude. He takes 2 damage.
He takes 2.
Get absolutely shreked before charging back in and wiping out most of that Inceptor unit. In the center of the table, a Lancer made the classic mistake of thinking it could actually kill a Gravis armored captain, who tanked its laser destroyer shots, spitting out a mouthful of blood and a single tooth, and asking it sincerely for more. Am I alive?
Alrighty.
Yes! I am invincible!
At the end of the Templar shooting phase, the Armor of Fate activated on the stricken Robute Guilliman.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the
technology.
The ancient systems of his life support system grinding into action and promptly failing. It turns out Belisarius Cawl actually bought that suit of armor from Wish, so you know, what can you do? While the fusillade of fire was answering my melee units in the center, Marneus Calgar had been summoned from the technicolor madness of the warp by the powerful mind of Uriel Ventress, rapid ingressing into a ruin on my side of the table in order to answer my opponent's infantry in that position. That left Helbrecht's unit of remaining Sword Brethren to wipe out the company hero squad. But on the other flank, the aggressors attempted a long 9-inch charge into Marneus Calgar's unit that was bravely cowering behind a wall, and to everyone's surprise, actually succeeded. That put them far enough up the table to engage Marneus, but brought them into heroic intervention range of a 2nd Company hero squad led by another captain, who bravely charged into battle. This forced the aggressors to split their attacks between the 2 Company hero squads, leaving both of those units battered, but still alive. And on the swing back, Marneus Calgar killed the entire aggressor squad.
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
That's it! You're locked in here with me!
Now, while that left the Gravis captain engaging my own captain's unit, that also let me push aggressively forward with Calgar's unit. I did pay a command point to adaptive tactics, the captain's unit into tactical doctrine, forgetting entirely, I shouldn't say forgetting, I didn't even know, that the lieutenant allowed the unit to fall back and charge, but that allowed him to fall back and charge outside of the captain's engagement range and engage the remaining Land Raider in the center. Calgar's unit, fortunately, wiped out the Land Raider, and that allowed the captain's unit to push forward and engage a 2nd Lancer and do some significant damage to it. Unfortunately for me, the opposing Land Raider Redeemer did perform some distinctly unfriendly fire onto my own Land Raider, leaving it on a single wound.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
Which, to be fair, was pretty lucky given that it had tanked multiple Lancer hits before that. With the Land Raider still alive, however, that allowed me to do some war crimes of my own, as my carrier of conflagration unleashed hell on Helbrecht's unit and absolutely vaporized it, leaving only the High Marshal remaining, wondering where his sword brethren had gone. Helbrecht was then summarily executed for his insolence against the Imperial Regent Guilliman by the remaining captains, but not before taking the wounded Gravis captain with him. With Calgar taking down the other Land Raider and his associate captain pushing forward and engaging the Lancer, I had defeated my opponent's infantry in glorious close combat and was feeling pretty good about my chances. That was until tragedy struck. Down to their last few vehicles, the Black Templars gunners knew that they had to make every shot count, so one crack shot within the unengaged Lancer took aim at my Land Raider's exposed fuel tanks, and with a single precise attack, pierced its adamantine hull and cooked off the ammunition stores. My army was punished for its crimes against God in a massive conflagration. They claimed the lives of no less than 3 undamaged Space Marine characters within 6 inches. As it turns out, D6 damage deadly demise is no joke.
1 wound, AP4.
Got him.
So 6.
He does explode. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So the lieutenant, yeah.
He's dead.
The Ventress. Okay.
Is dead.
The other guy, okay.
Is dead. That's fucking insane. Like, Jesus Christ.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
With the majority of my army existing solely as wafting particulate above a smoking crater quietly smoldering in the center of the battlefield, Marneus Calgar took it upon himself to assume command of the game and took its resolution on his shoulders. While the remaining captain finished off my opponent's Gladiator Lancer on his objective with a use of Finest Hour, Marneus Calgar pushed aggressively forward to revenge himself upon the other Lancer, leaving my opponent with just a few models left. While an epic duel between our Calidus assassins ended in a tight win for mine, which retained control of my backline objective, Marneus Calgar led a murderous crusade across the remainder of the battlefield, advancing, shooting, and charging the rest of the Templars' army. Combined with my bottom of round scoring thanks to going second and a good final grip of tactical secondaries that allowed me to get a big win on secondary objectives towards the end of the game, that put me in the lead at the end of round 5, 94-69.
Nice.
So overall, Space Marine captains are pretty great.
As Regent, I believe I will decree that all citizens of the Imperium must download Raid Shadow Legends at the link in the video description or QR code on screen now.